boasting just that. Listen to this, Governor.
On the issue of gas prices, after waiting for a long time to have enough chips in this country to finally get my electric vehicle, I got it and drove it from Michigan to here this last weekend and went by every single gas station. It didn't matter how high it was.
By the way, the median income in her state is less than that of the cost of an EV. So is your party getting the messaging on this push for green energy wrong?
Well, look, here's why EVs benefit everybody, even if you don't buy them. When other people buy them, let's say wealthier people are buying them, upper middle class people are buying them, it's great. Some people like them, they're quieter, no exhaust, it's wonderful. The more people buy them, the less demand there is on gas. That provides a downward pressure on gas prices. It also means cleaner air. So I think it should be all about choice, frankly, and there's a lot of folks who want EVs, and again, 13% of vehicles sold in our state are EVs. I think it's close to 7 or 8% nationally. There's now pickup trucks like Ford Lightning and others, Rivian coming on board. They're more expensive up front, they're lower cost to operate over time. But even if you're not getting one, you benefit when other people make that switch, because it's a downward pressure on gas, cleaner air, quieter neighborhoods.
Just to be clear, though, as you well know, 61% of all the electricity that goes into those EVs is generated from fossil fuels still. We have not seen that full transition, so we're still dependent on fossil fuels to generate the electricity for those EVs, and we're dependent on China for a lot of the lithium for the batteries that goes into those EVs. I want to ask you also about the rising food prices. Inflation, a major problem, as you know, politically for your party heading into the November midterm elections. What can your state do to help bring these prices down? And are you hearing enough of a plan at the federal level to help the American people with this sky-high inflation, Governor?
So first on that other point, by the way, the grid is going to be coal, natural gas, solar, wind, yes, fossil fuels, but not gasoline. So again, people making the switch to electric might be more demand on natural gas and coal, but it does help drive down gas prices. I want to be clear on that too. There's different kinds of fossil fuels for different uses. We're doing everything we can as a state. We just announced we did 100 ways to save people money in Colorado. Everything from reducing the income tax, setting everybody $500 tax rebate, reducing the property taxes, making sure that common goods like diapers no longer are subject to the sales tax, providing relief for farmers and ranchers by making fertilizer exempt from the sales and use tax. Do we need more nationally? Yes, yes, yes. I've called on Congress and the President to suspend the 22-cent per gallon gas tax as an example for 6 months or until gas prices are lower. That's a simple, quick thing that they can do to provide immediate relief to Americans.
Are you hopeful at all? I mean, we're reporting that gas prices are about to top $5 as a national average. It seems the price of just about everything keeps going higher. The White House has tried to lay out a plan, but it doesn't look much different than what we've seen in recent months. Are you hopeful this administration is able to tackle such a great problem for Americans?
So look, you need to look at several drivers of inflation. One is fiscal responsibility. Congress needs to reduce the deficit, period. The longer you do deficit spending, the more inflationary pressures they are. Second is monetary policy. Now look, no president directly controls monetary policy, nor should they, but they do appoint the members of the Fed, and we hope that the Fed takes the threat of inflation seriously and acts to reduce it. But there's also policies that matter, like suspending the gas tax, reducing tariffs on goods that we need to grow our economy.
What about producing more oil? Could you get behind producing more oil?
You know, it's already on the upswing because of the prices. So we have, and one of the issues we have here in Colorado, we're one of the top oil producing states. I think we're 6th or 7th. We have 2,600 permits already granted that aren't being drilled and acted on. So adding some immediacy to the need to do that. You know, it's a good question. I think there's a couple of solutions. One would be use it or lose it type awards for approval. The other would be prioritize companies that are willing to tap those resources sooner and not just sit on it. I think what we've seen is a lot of speculators.
Shouldn't our leaders ask them? I mean, because that's a talking point from the Democrats in the administration right now, that there's all these leases out there that aren't getting used. I mean, isn't the responsibility of our leadership to ask why? I mean, because we have, and oftentimes they say it's too risky for them. And they've lost a lot of the investment in their industry because of the demonization of fossil fuels in this country.
Yeah, you should have, you know, some execs from some of these companies on the show. I think what they would say.
Those are mostly small operations that have the leases, sir. not fake oil.
They don't have the confidence, they don't have the confidence that they're gonna have $100 a barrel pricing by the time they actually drill and implement.
true.
Because what they're doing now is they're planning their investments for 6 months out, 9 months out, right? So they're getting ready, but they don't know what they're gonna be getting for the product. So is there more activity domestically? Absolutely. It's on the upswing. Colorado production, Texas production, all going up, more investment. But again, because the more we produce, the lower it pushes the price. It's hard for folks to speculate too much. They did that a few years ago, Sandra, and it was a bust. A lot of them went bankrupt because they overproduced, rates came down. Great for consumers, wonderful consumers for consumers, but not sustainable because many of them were then no longer making any money because it was costing more to get it out of the ground.
Governor, I really appreciate the conversation. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to have another one sometime soon.